A new post out from President Trump about the New York mayoral race, which we've been talking about all morning. He said self-proclaimed New York City communist Zohran Mamdani, who's running for mayor, will prove to be one of the best things to ever happen to our great Republican Party. He's going to have problems with Washington like no mayor in the history of our once great city. Remember, he needs the money from me as president in order to fulfill all of his fake communist promises. He won't be getting any of it. So what's the point of voting for him? This ideology has failed always for thousands of years. It will fail again, and that's guaranteed. President DJT issuing a warning to New Yorkers this morning. I have to tell you that I imagine that the folks who were planning to vote for Mamdani look at that kind of warning, and that doesn't talk them out of voting for him. In fact, it may help persuade more folks who, are worried about what's happening in Washington. Having said that, we've talked a lot on this set before about the fact that the National Guard has emerged in all these other cities, has not come to New York. I think one of the reasons for that, and it's pure conjecture, but it may very well be because Adams was in this role and he had this sort of weird relationship or special relationship, but unusual relationship with this president and what happens. And whether New Yorkers should be voting based on that is an interesting concept unto itself.
Well, let me just look at some of the numbers on this. In fiscal year 2025, federal funds made up about 8.3% of the city's operating budget, including nearly $1.1 billion in pandemic-related funds. The funding comes through direct grants, competitive applications, formula-based allocations supporting programs like housing choice vouchers for low-income residents. In fact, the city receives billions of dollars through programs like the HUD tenant-based rental assistance program. Over $32 billion flows to the city's health care providers and insurers through programs like Medicaid. Although federal spending cuts do pose risk to that. Infrastructure comes from that, education. So those are areas that would be, I don't know if the president can follow through on that and go through that because the Congress is who controls the spending. Well,
that's the other question. Would Congress stand up and say, no,
we're not going to do that?
We're not going to do that.
I can't imagine Congress would support targeting certain areas, but I don't know if the president has other means and other ways of cutting certain programs. But that's what's at risk, 8.3% of the city's budget for fiscal 2025.
Throwing a...
It's a closely watched race, we should say, beyond just the confines of New York City.